Viewers, war between US and Iran has taken a dramatic turn. Deadly tit-for-tat attacks are continuing. It all started last week when Iran attacked commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. US then bombed southern part of Iran. Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz and started bombing American assets in the Gulf once again. And today, the tragedy has hit close to home. The missiles may not have landed on Indian soil, viewers, but the grief has reached the Indian shores. An Indian national serving aboard a UAE oil tanker, Mombasa, has lost his life after it was hit by an Iranian missile, adding to the growing list of Indian seafarers who have paid the ultimate price in a conflict that is not even their own. India has got nothing to do in this conflict between Iran and the US, but it's Indian seafarers who are becoming collateral in this war. Now we have some breaking inputs coming in at this point in time. New Delhi, in fact, has summoned the Deputy Ambassador of Iran. India lodging a strong protest over the attack that took place. Iranian Deputy Ambassador appears at MEA. This is the latest update that we are getting at this point in time. This is an exclusive piece of information that we are getting at this point in time. Let's go across to my colleague Akanksha Swaroop joining us live right now for more on this. Akanksha, give us more details. What happened? Because this is getting extremely serious now. One Indian sailor remains missing. Another one has died.
Absolutely. And India's worries are only growing further because it's not just Indian vessels, but Indian seafarers on foreign flagged vessels also, for which India feels extremely helpless, given that the tensions in the Strait of Hormuz are quickly spiraling out of control. So yes, to just keep our viewers up to speed with what's happened today, as far as the Ministry of External Affairs is concerned, they did summon the Iranian Ambassador Mohammad Fatali, who's currently in Hyderabad, which is why the next diplomat in line happened to be the Deputy Ambassador, that is Dr. Mustafa Goharifar, who was then summoned. Accompanying Dr. Mustafa Goharifar was the second diplomat seen, and that is Mr. Ali Nasrullah Tabar, who's the political advisor of Iran embassy in New Delhi. So these two diplomats were very much in attendance in that meeting with the Ministry of External Affairs. We are being told that that meeting lasted roughly between 10 and 15 minutes, and India strongly lodged its protest with regards to how Indian seafarers are continuing to bear the brunt, are in the line of fire in this war. We do not know what the Iranians had to communicate to them. Remember, in some time from now, the Ministry of External Affairs will also be addressing a press conference where we'll perhaps have more information with us. But in that statement which had been put out there by the IRGC, they said that they did fire 2 warning shots, and these were 2 rogue super tankers that they had shot at. Of course, these were the 2 UAE super tankers, Al Bahia, and the other one being Mombasa, that the IRGC has not named but referred to. They were saying that they shot those warning shots at them only to stop them from entering Omani waters because they were mined. Now, if we speak to these various heads of the seafarer unions, we are being told that every time a merchant vessel which is not armed, contrary to these armed naval vessels, whether they belong to the IRGC or the Navy, they can very much fire a shot across the bow of the vessel, which is taken as a warning shot, and that's when the merchant vessel comes to a screeching halt. But that was not done. The IRGC could have easily avoided shooting directly at that vessel, the details of which we are yet to learn. If there was a missile that landed on the front part of the vessel that led to the killing of that seafarer, but the developments have been deeply disturbing. And also, to quickly add, Hina, this is not the first time that India has summoned the Iranians. In April, in fact, on 18th of April to be precise, India had a meeting. That time, the wording of the MEA release was very, very softened because it had used the term meeting. There was no term such as démarche or protest that had been used over there. But that time also the Foreign Secretary, Vikram Misri, was in attendance when he met the Iranian Ambassador Fatali, who had represented Iran that time.
Right. Akanksha, request you to please stay on with us. We have Pathikrit Payan strategic affairs expert, also joining us on the broadcast. Good afternoon to you, sir. I'll come to you in just a bit. In fact, let's also tell our viewers a little bit about how Indian seafarers have really suffered. For Indian seafarers sailing through the region, every voyage has become a journey into danger. From March to July, a series of tragedies has claimed the lives of Indian nationals serving aboard merchant vessels, while another remains missing. Here's a look at growing human toll. Now, this is extremely important for us. On 2nd of March, Skylight oil tanker was hit. 2 Indian sailors were killed. Then on 10th of March, Safe Sea Vishnu oil tanker was hit. 1 Indian national was killed then. 10th of June, in fact, Set Below oil tanker was targeted. 3 Indian sailors were killed at that time as well. Fast forward to July 12, when we are seeing renewed hostilities, a fresh wave of hostilities between US and Iran. 12th of July, GFS Galaxy targeted. 1 Indian national remains missing. We still do not know where this Indian sailor is at this point in time. Then within 2 days, there was another attack, 14th of July on Mombasa oil tanker. 1 Indian national killed and several others injured as well. Mr. Pathikrit Pain, now the question really is that what are the options that are there with New Delhi to deal with this kind of a situation? Because India sends a lot of seafarers in the Strait of Hormuz. If I'm not wrong, it's the 3rd highest, in terms of number of seafarers that go from India. What can New Delhi really do in a situation like this?
True that there are several 100,000 Indian sailors who actually work in global oil shipping companies. And what Iran is doing is something extremely horrendous and obnoxious. They're targeting the cargo vessels, knowing well that they are unarmed and that it would lead to casualties. Now, if it continues like this, I think right now the government of India will send out a strong protest with the Iranian government through the embassy. But if it continues like that, then in such a situation, if it continues this way, then India would have to send its warships in that region to protect, first of all, the Indian ships or India-bound ships. What Iran is right now doing is that they're not targeting any ship which is carrying the Indian flag. They're only targeting other ships. They might, by default, are having Indian sailors, or they're targeting those ships which are carrying oil to several other countries, including India. So I think Iran is also, they are doing something very mischievous, but at the same time, they're actually having something called a sense of plausible deniability, wherein they're saying that we are not targeting Indian ships per se. Now, for government of India to take responsibility of several 100,000 sailors working across the world in different shipping companies, it's not easy. It's easier said than done, but it's not very easy. However, I think India, having good relation with Iran, will send out a strong word of protest that if these casualties go on, then Indian government would be under pressure to do something very, very strict, which may not be good for Iran in its own interest. Okay. So I think the matter might escalate in future if it continues this way.
All right, Mr. Pathikrit Pain, thank you very much for speaking with us here on Times Now and sharing with us your perspective. Also joining us on the broadcast is Arisan Singh, who's an author. Mr. Singh, good afternoon. Thank you for speaking with us here on Times Now. Your thoughts on what's really happening around the Strait of Hormuz right now? I mean, even if Indian ships are not being targeted, Indian tankers are not being targeted, if that's the alibi by Iran, I mean, it's Indian sailors that are getting targeted. One has been killed, the other one still remains missing.
You're absolutely right. We need to take a broader perspective of the entire issue. It is no comfort, to say that, Indian flag ships are not being targeted. The reality being that, oil and gas, that is LNG, it necessarily does not come through Indian, via Indian flag ships. It can have any flag, So to say that, Indian flag ships are not being targeted is hardly an alibi, firstly. The second is that we are as much concerned about navigation, navigation on the seas, without any hindrance, because that is the right of every nation, and in that sense we stand with the the Committee of Nations, because if this paradigm was to spread, then imagine what would happen. I mean, if we have come to a level where commercial ships indulging in clean commercial activity is being targeted.
All right.
Against the existing international laws and practice.
All right.
This world will flare up.
Absolutely.
I mean, therefore, we need to take a much broader position.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Mr. Arison Singh, appreciate you joining us here on Times Now and sharing with us your perspective. Viewers, after this particular attack, a strong reaction came from UAE also. It strongly condemned the attack on two of its oil tankers, calling it a brazen violation of international law and reserving its right to respond. Iran's Revolutionary Guard, however, has defended its actions, claiming the vessel took an illegal route, ignored repeated warnings and disabled its navigation system as well. And joining us on Afternoon Dispatch is a very special guest. We have Manoj Yadav, FSUI General Secretary. Now, FSUI, viewers, is Forward Seamen's Union of India, representing the rights and welfare of Indian mariners. Mr. Manoj Yadav, good afternoon. Thank you for speaking with us here on Times Now. Firstly, I want to ask you, any word about one Indian sailor who still remains missing when commercial vessel GFS Galaxy was hit on 12th of July?
Good afternoon. In one word, I can say now the Indian seafarers are left abandoned, helpless, and keeping their life at threat from last 3 months, day by day. When the situation are getting accelerated, the conflicts are getting more accelerated, the seafarers' life are more on risk. And maximum, I can say the Indian seafarers who lost their life from last 3 months conflict, from the war, which they have nothing to do with. Yesterday morning, there was a third of engineer reported missing from Galaxy. Now today morning from the Mombasa reported death. When this is going to be stopped? Whether we have to count every morning after waking up and ask that what next, how many more seafarers? In spite of releasing advisory, in spite of releasing notification, it is not going to help the seafarers on battle of ground where they are. So my concept is very clear. We have already sent our message to our Honorable Prime Minister and the Ministry of External Affairs. This is the high time. You have to intervene either through United Nations or IMO, or you have to directly start the dialogue in between the Iranian IRGC as well as the US. This war was accelerated on the basis of, if I am right, to find out the nuclear weapons, to hit the nuclear sites, to hit the military weapons. How this reached to the commercial vessel, in spite of knowing there are foreign nationalities, especially the Indian seafarers. So in that condition, it is very critical so that it is not going to stop in a day or two. We have to take some strong decision. Government has to step out and they have to start either dialogue with Iran directly or with the US or through the United Nations. This is not going to be acceptable, where we have already lost more than 7-8 seafarers, where we are still in a searching mode of yesterday. Our Karmarkar, the third engineer from the ship Galaxy.
It is very important what you're saying, that something needs to be done. We've lost at least 7-8 seafarers already, and Iran war, Mr. Manoj Yadav, has turned Hormuz into a death trap for Indian mariners. Do we have any data to give us a sense of how many Indian seafarers are still in that zone? How many are there right now? Is there any data that you keep?
Initially, we have spoken during the time of this conflict started, around 23,000 seafarers were there. And last month, Ministry of Shipping also came with a press conference saying 18,500. So I believe not less than 15,000, around 17 to 18,000 Indian seafarers are still there. Most important thing, many of them also got replaced by the new sets of crew who were there during the time of this conflict started. So I am very, it is not a question who are there. It is a question all the Indian seafarers are there, whether in the form of new sets of crew or whether the older one who are there from the initial date, 28th of Feb.
All right, we'll leave it there. Mr. Manoj Yadav, appreciate you joining us here on Times Now, and we'll see how the government really responds to this particular situation that's escalating. Of course, seafarers and the community here in India is demanding an intervention by UN, is demanding New Delhi should have a word with Iranians to ensure that the Indian seafarers who are currently in the Strait of Hormuz do not become a collateral damage of this war between Iran and the United States of America. Let's now move on, viewers, and shift our focus to another story on our afternoon dispatch that we have at this point in time. And BJP, viewers, has launched a scathing attack on Chhattisgarh Congress MLA Atal Srivastav, alleging that he called dreaded Naxal commander Hidma his role model. BJP has accused Congress of having a pro-separatist mindset and blamed the party for allowing Naxalism to grow for over decades. Listen in.
कांग्रेस पार्टी हमेशा वोट नीति को राष्ट्र नीति के ऊपर रखती है और इसीलिए कांग्रेस पार्टी दंगाई, आतंकी, नक्सली के बचाव में आती है। कांग्रेस पार्टी के इमरान मसूद तो कहते हैं कि ताहिर हुसैन इसलिए कन्विक्ट हो क्योंकि मुसलमान है। अब उनके एक विधायक छत्तीसगढ़ में किस प्रकार का बयान देते हैं, बोलते हैं हिडमा मेरे रोल मॉडल है। मतलब जो सीआरपीएफ जवान हमारे बलिदान देते हैं, जो देश के लिए लड़ते हैं, वो उनके रोल मॉडल नहीं है। जो ट्राइबल्स मारे जाते हैं उनके लिए संवेदना कांग्रेस को नहीं है। कांग्रेस को संवेदना नक्सलियों के लिए, और इससे पहले भी नक्सली को शहीद बोलना, नक्सलियों के लिए आंसू बहाना, नक्सलियों पर कोई हमला ना हो और उनके ऊपर कोई अटैक ना हो हमारी सीआरपीएफ के जवान का, ये वकालत करना और सीजफायर की वकालत करना।
कांग्रेस पार्टी प्रो नक्सल टेरर पार्टी है। कांग्रेस पार्टी के एमएलए ने कहा है कि उसका इंस्पिरेशन हिडमा, नक्सल आतंकी हिडमा है। याद करिए, राहुल गांधी ने एक वीडियो शेयर किया था जिसमें भी हिडमा के पक्ष के नारे लग रहे थे। आज ये स्पष्ट हो चुका है कि कांग्रेस पार्टी एक अर्बन नक्सली पार्टी है एंड द कांग्रेस पार्टी हैज सॉफ्ट सपोर्ट फॉर नक्सलिज्म। Recall in the past that Digvijay Singh said that Maoists do not even exist. It's clear that whenever it comes to national security, the Congress party chooses to stand with those who compromise on India's national security. This is why the Congress party today is Muslim League Maoiwadi Congress party.
So that's the attack coming in by BJP. BJP has launched a blistering attack on Chhattisgarh Congress MLA Atal Srivastav. BJP is targeting the Congress party. Now, it all started with an allegation wherein BJP says that this particular Congress MLA Atal Srivastav called dreaded Naxal commander Hidma his role model. And with this, the BJP is now targeting the Congress party, citing the past statements of several leaders of the Congress party as Congress netas as well, wherein they appeared to be soft on Naxals and Naxalism specifically. Let's go across to my colleague Mohit Bhatt, who's joining us live right now for more on this. Mohit, firstly, tell us what exactly Congress MLA from Chhattisgarh, Atal Srivastav, has said, because BJP is now targeting him and saying that Congress party in the past has also been quite soft on Naxalism and Naxal leaders.
Well, in fact, you see, Atal Srivastav, a Congress leader from Chhattisgarh, came out in an interview and he stated that Hidma, the Naxal commander, the dreaded Naxal commander, was his role model. And post that, we have seen how the BJP has hit out at the Congress party, saying that this is the mindset of the Congress party, that on which the Naxalism thrived for so many years. They have always been shielding the Naxalism, and perhaps that is why our security forces were always at the risk. And this is the mindset that the Congress party has, BJP says, that was always shielding the Naxals, that somebody who was responsible for a killing of 75 CRPF soldiers in 2010 is a role model for a Congress MLA. This is something which is very shocking, BJP says. And the BJP also says that the appeasement, the shielding of such anti-national people who are engaged in killing of our security forces, this has been the idea of the Congress party. They want to divide the country. They want that unrest should prevail in the country, and perhaps that is why they subscribe subscribe to the ideology of a dreaded Naxal commander like Hidma, who was responsible for killing 75 people in 2010, 75 army soldiers, I beg your pardon, the CRPF officials in 2010. So the BJP has it out of the Congress party, saying that this is the tukde mindset of the Congress party, and perhaps that is why they always advocated for Naxals, because they wanted to create unrest within the country to ensure that they come to power. Back to you.
Right. Stay on with us, Mohit. Let's go across to Sabyasachi as well, who's joining us live right now for more on this big story. Sabyasachi, any reaction from other Congress netas on what this Chhattisgarh Congress MLA Atul Srivastav had to say?
Well, see, so far the Congress party has not officially given their stance on the remark that has come in from Atul Srivastav. Now, clearly, the Congress party need to come out, whether it's the party high command, they need to come out and give a statement regarding this, because it's not acceptable. Because you are glorifying a Maoist who has killed hundreds of central forces as well as civilians over the years. And the Congress was in power in Chhattisgarh from 2018 to 2023, and BJP was in power from 2023 onwards, where the focus of the Bharatiya Janata Party was on the termination of the Maoist in the state of Chhattisgarh, which was completely infested with Naxalism. So at this particular time, it is very much important that the Congress High Command must take a note, because time and again we have seen that the Congress party have been labeling themselves as pro-tribal group time and again, whether it is in Chhattisgarh or other parts of the country. But the Congress party officially has not given a stand, but definitely it would have by now reached to the Congress party high command, and shortly we'll see a reaction coming in, as this has been the common reaction from the Congress party, which they say that they do not show the real statement from the Congress party. This is his own independent statement that he has made, and it has nothing to do with the Congress party.
All right. Thank you very much, Mohit, as well as Sabyasachi. Appreciate you joining us with those details. With this, we will slip into another very short break on Afternoon Dispatch. Heading into a short break on the other side. More news and